A burned body. There were multiple checks made into hotels using different identities. 2 suitcases stuffed with wigs and clothes with no tags attached to them. Before we continue telling you about the mystery of the Isdal Woman, subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. Over the past 50 years, investigators and journalists in Norway have made very little headway in solving the mystery of the Isdal Woman. They have made little progress in determining who she was and who killed her. The results of DNA testing carried out in recent years have not produced any database matches. Was she a spy all along? Are you a member of a worldwide criminal organization? Or did she have a mental disorder that required treatment? These are just some of the hypotheses that have been put forward regarding the incident, which was investigated in Norway with the assistance of law enforcement agencies from across Europe. A man and his 2 young daughters came across the body of a woman on November 29, 1970, while they were hiking in Isdalen, a remote wooded valley located outside of Bergen in western Norway. The name Isdalen translates to Ice Valley. With the A&E app, you can watch episodes of Cold Case Files whenever you want. And don't forget to tune into A&E every Friday at 9 p.m/8c. Burns cover the majority of her frontal lobe, including her face and a good portion of her hair. The police discovered jewelry, bottles whose labels had been removed, a watch, and an umbrella close to the deceased person's body. The police also discovered the charred remains of nylon stockings and rubber boots during their investigation. In 2017, one of the forensic investigators, Tormod Beans, gave an interview to the BBC in which he stated that the placement and location of the objects surrounding the body was strange. From the looks of things, there appeared to have been some sort of ceremony. The woman was about 5 feet 4.5 inches tall, and she had brown eyes and long dark hair, according to the description. It looked like she was somewhere between 25 and 40 years old. She had distinctive teeth, with 14 fillings and several gold crowns between them, which was unusual for someone of her age and unheard of in Norway. According to the findings of an autopsy, she passed away from a toxic combination of sleeping pills and carbon monoxide poisoning, which may have been caused by a campfire that was nearby. There are varying accounts as to whether or not there was actually a fire in the area where she was. Her passing was ruled a suicide by a medical examiner, but many people are skeptical about the verdict due to the peculiar circumstances surrounding the case. A fingerprint allowed the police to determine that a deceased woman was the owner of 2 suitcases that were discovered in the luggage department of the Bergen railway station. The contents included wigs, money from Belgium, the United Kingdom, and Switzerland, as well as German and Norwegian currency. Additionally, there were glasses and clothing with tags that had been removed. There was a notepad with columns of letters and numbers that had been handwritten. The investigators were able to decipher the notes and determine that they indicated the dates she had stayed and the locations where she had stayed. There was a plastic bag from a footwear store in the city of Stavanger in Norway, which is approximately 190 kilometers, 120 miles, south of Bergen. The proprietor's son recalled that the customer had bought a pair of rubber boots. He remarked to the BBC that she had good taste in both her attire and her appearance. She was a customer who was a nuisance because she took up a lot of room, asked a lot of questions, and took a very long time to decide what she wanted. He mentioned to NRK radio in Norway that she spoke poor English and that he could recall a certain peculiar scent, which he speculated might have been garlic. The woman was identified as Fenella Lorch when she checked into a hotel in the area that was investigated by the police. But that was not her real name, and neither were any of the other aliases she used to check into hotels in Norway between March and November 1970, including Genevieve Lancier, Claudia Tielt, Claudia Nielsen, Alexandria Zarn, Merche, Vera Jarl, and Elizabeth Leenhofer. However, no passports were ever found. Only a nearly destroyed plastic cover, possibly for a passport, was found near her body. Presumably, the woman would have needed to present fake passports in order to check into the hotels. However, no passports were ever found. The staff at the hotel recalled her as being very demure, fashionable, and serious. In addition to German and Flemish, she had a rudimentary command of English. A waitress recalled that on one occasion she was seated next to 2 members of the German Navy, one of whom was an officer. The investigators were unable to determine the identity of the woman, despite the fact that there appeared to be a great deal of evidence. In the beginning of 1971, just a few weeks after the body was found, the authorities in Norway issued an order to close the investigation. They buried the Isdal woman in a zinc coffin so that her remains would be preserved in the event that any of her relatives turned up in the future. In recent years, there has been an uptick in interest regarding the mystery. In 2017, the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, released a fresh bulletin with updated information regarding the Isdal woman. Marit Hygraf from NRK Radio and Neil McCarthy from the BBC re-examined the case with the assistance of the Bergen Police Department and the National Criminal Investigation Service, which is known as Kripos in Norway. The enamel on the Isdal woman's teeth was analyzed, and the results indicated that she most likely spent her childhood somewhere along the border between France and Germany. She was probably living in the border regions of Germany, France, Luxembourg, and Belgium when she was 14 years old. It was estimated that she was closer to 40 than 30 years old. Their descendants claim that at the time of the discovery of her body, some members of the local police force were hesitant to let the case go and believed that it was closed too soon. If the woman was, in fact, a spy or was in some way connected to intelligence work, then the case may have been closed because it had larger implications, according to the speculation of some people. Tor Asland, the son of the Bergen investigator Harold Asland, said in an interview with the BBC that his father could never put this case away. He was never able to come to terms with the fact that they had to drop the case. Cecilie Thorsted Flo, the granddaughter of a police officer in Bergen, stated that her grandfather's faith in his profession was shaken as a result of the investigation. She explained that her grandfather had the impression that obstacles were being placed in the way of their work. After all is said and done, there remain many unanswered issues and conjectures regarding the Isdal woman's real identity. Facts and myth are now mixed together, and a woman's very genuine death has even used as the basis for television drama. There was a reason why she set out to journey throughout Europe. She was concealing her identity for a reason. Her passing might have served a purpose for someone. In spite of the passage of 50 years since her passing, little is known about the Isdal woman today compared to the day she was laid to rest at Bergen in an unmarked grave. With only 50 years of history between, current procedures appear to be tipping the odds in favor of identifying the woman, and if murder was actually committed, there may even be living suspects. No matter who the Isdal woman was, a prostitute, a terrorist, a global felon, or even a KGB agent, she deserved better than to be abandoned in the dark without anyone to grieve her loss. She is known to the world as the enigmatic Isdal woman, yet to others, she is a long-lost sister, friend, or lover. They deserve to know the truth, and the Ice Valley woman deserves to have her identity ultimately revealed. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing to our channel.